Not only is it a mistake, it's probably a violation of carnivore law.
Do I have to turn in my carnivore card?
Not only that, the carnivore police are on their way.
Uh-oh. And here I am on YouTube confessing. Well, a warm welcome to you all. This video is about the two paths of carnivore. I'm JJ, I'm a life coach, and I eat mostly meat.
I'm Eric, I'm a novelist, and I eat beef, bacon, butter, eggs, and coffee, but minus the eggs recently.
Yeah, minus the eggs.
Yeah, I'm doing an experiment to see if the eggs were causing me an issue. This is day 3 of eating only bacon for breakfast, which is a little weird, but so far so good. I mean, I don't really know if it's made a difference or not.
Now, when I do experiments, I'm usually looking at where can I optimize.
Yeah.
When you do experiments, it seems like you're trying to fix things.
Yes, and this is indicative of today's topic.
Yes, it is.
That was a good segue, JJ.
I can do the segue.
So we're talking about the smooth path and the rocky path. And which of us is the smooth path?
I think we just gave you a hint. When I look back on my carnivore journey, it feels pretty smooth. And I know you say you want me to get credit for the work I've done. And it has been a complete paradigm shift. There has been work, but for me, there just hasn't been a lot of struggle and strife.
So no reversals.
No reversals that I can think of. I would say there have been plateaus.
Yeah.
But I haven't had any reversals.
So when you were starting carnivore, did you have significant adaptation symptoms or distress?
No. No. But there were no major symptoms of adaptation or distress. And perhaps it's because of something that could have actually been considered a mistake.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that. But no, I didn't really have massive cravings. I didn't have any major physical issues. It was pretty smooth.
Did you have low energy?
No, I don't. I didn't have.
Did you go through like a carb withdrawal depression?
No depression. I mean, I think anyone who goes into carnivore and has eaten carbs or sweets leading up to that, there's probably some days where you're like, oh man, that granola bar or whatever it is would really taste good. So yeah, I mean, I had some longing. I wouldn't even say craving, but some longing for some other foods here and
I
there.
can remember maybe 2 instances where you were like, this is an instance where I want ice cream.
Yes.
And that was over a year into carnivore.
Yes. Yes.
A very stressful time.
Yeah. Stress will do that.
But that's about it.
Yeah. It just really nothing major. Now, your experience?
Yeah. The rocky path leads through the bathroom and many times through the bathroom.
Yes.
For a month or more. And that was, but I went into it knowing that was a thing that could happen. And at the same time, I was trying to balance salt and electrolyte intake because I'm very sensitive to heart palpitations because of past anxiety issues. So I'm always kind of hypervigilant for that. So I was always wanting to make sure I was getting enough salt, enough hydration, enough electrolytes, almost in an obsessive kind of way, which is my nature. And those two things were kind of fighting each other in my intestines because you can, believe me, overdo salt and electrolytes.
Now, for me, I wasn't doing the electrolyte thing at that point early in my journey.
Of course you were.
Of course I wasn't. I was salting my foods well and didn't really worry about that a whole lot.
So she's doing this and I'm seeing her body recomposition. I'm seeing her mood is elevated and I wanted all of that stuff. And because my mood is very roller coastery. And I will say that as documented many times on here, it really did help with my mental health in general going carnivore. And I was able to get off of my SSRI. So from a rocky, smooth path standpoint, getting off of that actually wasn't difficult. There was just some headaches for a day or two each time I tapered down. But my anxiety is not gone.
Yeah.
It's still with me. It still crops up from time to time. And in fact, more recently, it's been much more present.
Now, how long have you been on Carnivore? Because I think that's an important part of the story here.
Well, I started in October of 2022 at the same time you did, even though we didn't tell each other. But I kind of went off of it as we went into the holidays. And then I restarted in May of 2023 with beef, bacon, butter, and eggs.
Full on. Yeah.
Which I did for a month. And then I brought back in all the artificial sweeteners and added dairy, which was an error. This past spring, I analyzed what I was eating because I was on a plateau. I eliminated the dairy and the artificial sweetener. Well, eliminating the dairy and artificial sweetener kind of seemed to prompt a new adaptation phase to carnivore, like I thought I was all through.
So you had the adaptation phase with the cleanses in May. We're talking May of 2022.
Yeah.
And now you're going through a different type.
Different. Yeah. Yes. Different issues. And we could talk about what I think that is, but let's just say that it has not been a smooth path. It has been rocky.
And you made those changes again because you did start to see some signs of anxiety, you said.
Yep.
And was there any other sign?
Well, I was plateaued with my body recomp, and I wasn't getting the mood benefits that she was. Now, my mood was okay. Certainly had a history for a decade of being way worse.
Oh, yes. Yes.
But when you see somebody who's gone from here to here, well, I want to be here too. I feel kind of left behind on the mood front.
Oh.
And so I started to really think, well, maybe I need higher ketones. Maybe I could if I get rid of some of this other stuff, there's brain inflammation or something. I don't know what it is. I want to keep leveling up. And I'm a very optimistic person about this. I still think that I can and will.
Oh, I do.
But
too.
it is not as linear of a path upwards as what it appears you experienced.
Yeah. I would say my path is like up, plateau, up. So it's pretty much
Stair step.
Yeah. And my plateaus, honestly, are usually around the holidays, is where I will not experience the weight loss and so forth. So that's usually there's a direct cause.
At the rate she's going, she's going to stair step herself up to like being like the Buddha when she dies. She'll be in perfect health when she dies.
At the ripe old age of 198.
Yep.
Now for me too, you've had one of the challenges you've had is actually having aversion to the food that you should be eating on Carnivore.
You enjoy your steaks for lunch.
I really enjoy my steaks, which is a little crazy to me if I look back on my whole lifespan and how many decades I did not like beef. Now, I did find out it was cooking the beef properly was a big part of that. But yeah, I really most days enjoy my steak unless I made a faux pas in the cooking process.
Yeah, I don't have that. The trick for me is just to be really hungry. And then it actually is like, oh, this is good. If I'm not hungry, I don't want it at all. I can't make myself eat more than 3 bites of steak if I'm not hungry.
Yeah. Yeah.
My tongue goes, bleh. But the problem is if I only eat when I'm hungry, I will way undereat.
Yeah.
There's no way I would be able to sustain 6 foot and 177 pounds.
Yay. You've locked in 170s, 177.
Yeah. I'm not much for a calories matter, but at some point you do have to meet some minimum threshold.
Oh yeah. You don't want to undereat.
And when we started doing this time restricted eating schedule that we're both kind of following in alignment, that first week I was way under eating, and it resulted in some rapid weight loss, but I just didn't like that. So I've sort of widened my window so that the time between breakfast and lunch is a little bit longer most days, so I can get hungrier by the time lunch comes around. Yesterday I was really hungry.
Yeah.
And the hamburgers you made were really good.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed enjoying food, but on the rocky path, really enjoying my meals is not very common.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And on the smooth path,
I enjoy most of my meals. Yeah. I just do. And even just beef and salt. I don't need a lot of fancy. I know you have worked with sauces and seasonings, and I totally am on board with that for you.
yeah.
So that you can get the beef in. But yeah, I haven't had to worry a whole lot about that.
So one of the things that I've run into is it's hard for me to say this with 100% certainty because I am the worst about being skeptical about things. Mm-hmm. For instance, oxalates.
Mm-hmm. Not only oxalates, but that you can have oxalate issues years into carnivore, right? I mean, come on.
That's what I'm hearing, yeah.
Come on. Really?
I first heard people talking about oxalates back with Dave Asprey.
Oh.
And he had his the bulletproof coffee guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he started talking about, be careful of eating the raw kale and the broccoli and stuff because there's oxalates in that. And as soon as he said it, I'm like, well, that can't be true because he said it. I mean, that's not a good reason to disbelieve something.
And kale and all that, that's healthy.
But he had the mycotoxins in coffee, and I didn't believe that either. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what's wrong with me. It's almost as if someone says something is dangerous, I immediately say that must be safe. I'm just a contrarian.
You are, yes.
I irritate myself, but you can't really control your thoughts. They just happen. So anyway, oxalates and oxalate dumping.
Yeah.
To me, just sounded ridiculous. And I can't really come up with a better explanation for my readaptation phase and all of the specific things that I'm experiencing right now, except for they align perfectly with Sally Norton's theory of oxalate dumping.
Yeah, every couple days you pull up the list or whatever and you're like, you know what? Dang. If I look at her list, now I've got this happening.
Yeah. So on my rocky path, basically since I eliminated dairy, I've had a headache and mystery rash, anxiety attacks, back of the neck tension and headache and the traps and I don't. There's other things I can't even remember them all.
Your foot.
Yeah, random foot pain. But who knows?
Yeah.
As someone who has experienced tons of psychosomatic symptoms in my body, I don't know. I could just be crazy. It's all good. But the oxalate thing is starting to make some sense to me. And so the experiment that I've been doing is adding back in a little bit low dose of oxalate food, not tea that she recommends, because that has caffeine and I'm not giving up my coffee, but I'm not amping up my caffeine.
Caffeine is not good for you. Extra.
So anyway, I'm adding back in very small amount to try to dose up to see if that alleviates the symptoms as is her theory. And I'm like on day 2.5 of that, so I don't know.
Okay, I was going to say, how long does that usually take?
I don't know. I think she says within days.
Yeah.
Maybe some people I don't see how you could have the benefit immediately because you're actually adding oxalates. So that seems like it'd make it worse. You need the whole time for the oxalates to be absorbed to then signal to the body to stop releasing.
Yeah.
So there's a delay there.
Now, I haven't gone deep into the oxalate studies because I have been on a smooth path where I don't seem to have any oxalate issues.
What's an oxalate?
But I do recall hearing one interview with her where she said sometimes something like a headache can go away like that. But yeah, you're right. So I think it does take a little time. Like a rash isn't going to magically disappear within hours of eating an oxalate.
One thing that you need to know about me is if I have some sort of discomfort, I'm going to make it worse by trying to fix it.
Yes.
So if I have neck pain, I am going to get in there with the shepherd's crook massager, and I'm going to damage those tissues so they don't heal for 2 weeks.
Massage the crud out of it.
Because the only way
and hard
to get the knots to release is to abuse them until they give up. Now, this has never once worked, but I'm committed to this strategy of making it worse so that I can't tell if other things I'm trying to do are actually working or not.
That is a long history.
My neck and traps are so sore right now, and I don't know. It's a mystery. Also, there's a complicating factor. I forgot what it is. I might have a concussion.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
A mild one.
I forgot what it is.
See, this is why you married me. So what happened?
You were doing a remodeling project at our property we're going to move into this fall. And we had boxes in the back of the car, and you're 6 feet tall.
Mm-hmm.
You reached into the car trunk to get the boxes, and you hit full force on the trunk of the car. So much so that I have the bad habit of laughing when people get injured. And this one, I didn't even laugh. I was like,
That's how I knew it was serious.
Yeah, it was.
If I stub my toe, she's on the floor crying. But this time she was like, well,
oh my gosh.
It was one of those, you hit your head and your vision goes black for a split second, and then your head hurts for long. Well, naturally, I forgot about it. Mm-hmm. And so, a couple weeks later, I'm having just continuous headaches. And I'm like, maybe it's that. Maybe it's the oxalates. Maybe it's I hit my head. Maybe it's a tumor. I don't know.
It's not a tumor.
It's the rocky path. Now, as far as weight loss and body recomp, you've been on a slow but steady, smooth path.
Yeah. Well, it is slow but steady. I think my average comes out to about a half pound a week, which is good. But I have to say that average includes 7 months of zero weight loss at the start of my carnivore journey. So at first, I did not lose any weight. Now, I did experience body recomposition, but the weight did not go off right away, the scale. Yeah.
Well, I lost weight immediately, but then I plateaued for a long time. And then once I stopped, I started gradually losing a little bit. But part of that was under eating. So I don't know. It's rocky for me. I get whiplash from the contradictory thoughts that go through my head in a rapid sequence.
And maybe that's your headache issue too.
It could be.
And your tense neck.
It could. The problem is me.
No comment.
It isn't easy.
Well, apparently not.
Over there in carnivore bliss world, you're thinking, well, just be happy and do it right and you'll get these results. But the point of this exercise is actually this. We can't tell you which path you're going to have if you start carnivore. It may not be the smooth path.
No.
Many people have it, and you'll see testimony after testimony of rapid remission and repair of long-standing illnesses and injuries and inflammatory diseases. But for all of those, there's going to be those comments that show up in our comment section and all over the internet of I've been doing carnivore and I'm having these problems. Mm-hmm. And that is the rocky path. And it's not clear-cut what to do. So many people say, you need more fat, you need more electrolytes, you need more salt. And those are the first suspects if you're having difficulty on carnivore. But I'm getting plenty of fat, salt, and electrolytes.
Mm-hmm. But here's the question I have for you. Because, I'm over here, tra-la-la, and there's no, why would I go back? I mean, come on. Mm-hmm. Life is wonderful. So for the rocky road, do you get frustrated? Do you feel like giving up? Do you feel defeated? What goes on?
Well, I don't feel defeated. I feel frustrated at times because I'm living with an example of carnivore happiness and bliss and smooth path. And I don't hold it against you. I don't want to sabotage you and make you not happy. But the benefits I have derived with IBS, reflux, those types of things, getting off my SSRI, I'm not going back to the old way I'm eating. I just want more.
Yeah.
I want to level up more. So I'm greedy for results. So if anything, it's frustration that I'm not getting them as quickly as I want.
Mm-hmm. Here's a question though. What if I weren't in the picture? What if, which I mean is impossible to imagine. But what if I weren't doing carnivore? So you didn't have me as an example, and you've been on this path for this long and you're having issues here and there. If you didn't have me for an example, would you have jumped off the path, do you think?
Probably, because you would have had many more temptation foods and things.
That's true.
So I would probably be yo-yoing back in and out of carnivore. But it's, I don't know. That's a guess.
It's all notional, yeah.
So one other thing about the oxalates
that may or may not be true
is I was just watching Sally talk about the importance of calcium.
Oh, yes.
For binding up these oxalates to get them out of the body.
Yeah.
Well, what did I just give up? All dairy. So I'm wondering if I was sort of protected during that early phase of carnivore up until I did this crackdown because I was having plenty of dairy every day to give me enough calcium. It's a thought. I wish I could just believe things like that immediately and just go, that's it. That's the answer.
I also had something that might have been protective and made my journey smoother.
Your huge mistake in carnivore.
My huge mistake in carnivore.
Okay, let's hear it.
Or what could be seen as a mistake.
Oh, it's not only is a mistake, it's probably a violation of carnivore law.
Do I have to turn in my carnivore card?
Not only that, the carnivore police are on their way.
Uh-oh. And here I am on YouTube confessing. Oh, my gosh. So I've said this before. You know this, Alan. About once a week, not every week, but many weeks, I go out to lunch with a friend of mine. And sometimes we go to a place where there is no carnivore option. They are a sandwich and salad shop. So sometimes, once a week, I am eating a meal that is off plan. And that's the question. Did it prevent me? Did that off-plan meal prevent me from losing weight for 7 months? Maybe. But did it also prevent me from having those adaptation issues? Perhaps.
Maybe that salad was chock full of oxalates that kept your body from deciding to release all of them at once.
Yeah, yeah.
I just saw, I think it was on Sally Norton's channel, an interview with I think he was a pilot, and he had severe oxalate issues, clearing issues. He does a cheat meal every week, which he believes really helps alleviate the symptoms.
I don't know. Can't go back in time and do another experiment, but it could have been what really made it a smoother path for me. Now, I'm not saying you should do that either. I didn't have autoimmune issues and extreme mental health issues. I didn't have major issues that I needed to fix. I was just trying to mostly at that time lose weight because I didn't realize I was going to experience carnivore bliss and more energy and reduced allergies and all the things we've talked about in our Matrix video. So I didn't know that was down the path for me, but it was mostly dealing with my insulin resistance and trying to lose weight. So, yeah, I just don't know.
Are you on the rocky path or are you
on the smooth path?
So are you Team Eric?
Or Team Jay?
No. My ego cannot handle the truth.
He's already on the rough path. He can't handle anymore.
Let's stipulate we're all Team JJ.
Oh.
We love her laugh. We love her energy, her vibe, her enormous quantity of hair.
It's a little flat today.
We're all Team JJ here, and I aspire to be on the smooth path soon. Tune in. Tune. What? How old am I? No one has tuned into anything for 50 years. On Friday, we do a live.
Yes.
We don't know when that's going to happen, but I've been doing a better job of like getting it scheduled so that you can see it and get notified when it's going to happen. We'll have an update on whether me adding back oxalate foods has made a difference by then. I hope that it has.
Yeah.
And we'll be talking about all kinds of carnivore issues in the news, in the pop culture, or wherever they happen. It is a fun time, and we will be happy to answer any of your questions. I'm a novelist. She's a life coach. So ask us all your medical questions because I can make something up, and she's got a pretty good guess.